Glad you're here.
Sorry to be loud.
Put more little pressure on the professors in law school to weed them out there.
Well, yeah.
We're going on.
Does that.
You said you're gonna do
No, I was going to send you some names and
Laura.
test on this time.
Okay.
Considering
Okay. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to our City Commission meeting. If we will all please stand for Pastor William Mitchell, who will be giving our invocation. Pastor.
Thank you. Let us pray. Gracious God, creator and sustainer of all people, we gather today with gratitude for the blessings of community, freedom, and the opportunity to serve one another. We ask your guidance upon all who have accepted the responsibility of leadership and public service in the city of Atchison. Grant them wisdom to make sound decisions, integrity to act in the public interest, and compassion to consider the needs of every resident. Help us to approach our discussions with respect, patience, and understanding, even when opinions differ. Inspire us to seek common ground, promote justice, and work together for the well-being, safety, and prosperity of our community. May our actions this evening reflect the highest ideals of public service and a genuine commitment to the common good. Guide us in building a community where every person is valued, every voice is heard, and future generations may flourish. In your holy and gracious name we pray.
Amen. Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I agree.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Pastor Mitchell. And I will now officially call our meeting to order. All right, at this time, Tina, could you please call the roll?
Mayor Young,
Present.
Vice Mayor Wilcox.
Present.
Commissioner Greenlee.
Present.
Commissioner Murphy.
Present.
Commissioner Slattery.
Present.
Thank you.
All right, very good. Okay, well, maybe. All right, we will now open for public forum. Persons who wish to address the City Commission regarding items that are not on the agenda may do so at this time when called upon by the mayor. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes and should give their name and address when addressing the commission. Any presentation is for informational purposes only. Again, we would request that you limit your comments to 3 minutes, and any and all written communication should be deposited with the city clerk. And I will open our public forum at 4:32. Do we have anyone? Pastor Mitchell, absolutely.
A little over a year ago, my first time here, the council gave our church $20,000 for an elevator, and we have had a Miracle Sunday recently, and we raised $48,000 more, and now we've started to work on the process, and we've actually cut the first check to pay for parts of the elevator. So we're meeting the deadline of using that money. So that's
Right, wonderful, thank you. Thank you very much, Pastor, thank you, and we appreciate that update. And I'd also just like to take this time, just as Pastor Mitchell gave us an update, if anyone has an update that's happening within the city and they would like to do so, please share as Pastor Mitchell did. All right, and congratulations on that, Pastor. All right, any other? All right, if not, we will close the public hearing at 4:33, and it is now closed. Next, we will have, God bless you, we will have Mark Westhoff, our city manager, for our consent agenda.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. We have 7 items on the consent agenda tonight. The first is to approve the meeting minutes of your June 1st City Commission meeting. Second is to authorize the mayor to sign the contract date completion time extension request for CDBG grant 21CR004, which is 526 Commercial Street. We all kind of know the long saga with that project. This should be the final extension request. It's 6 months. They have the contract in place to finish that work, thankfully there. So number 3, to approve the occupational license for Service Brewing, the Riverfront brewery here in town. 4th is to adopt Resolution 3454, which is authorizing a special event permit, including the sale and consumption of alcoholic liquor for the America 250 July 4th celebration. The fifth is to adopt Resolution 3455, authorizing the same type of permit for the Amelia Earhart Festival on July 17th and 18th. The sixth is to authorize staff to purchase the upfitting and installation package for the dumper body from Viking Sives. I'm not sure how they pronounce their Chives. Midwest, in the amount of $53,995. If you recall, you previously approved the purchase of this dump truck. We had included in that a bid to install the dumper body onto the dump truck. You all requested that we get second round of bids for the installation. These came in, this was the low bid, it's about $6,000 lower than the initial bid. However, the lead time on it's about 220 days. So just some back and forth there on slightly lower cost, more lead time to get the project done, but we'll go with the low cost. And the seventh is to authorize the purchase of protective vests for the police department in the amount of $31,110, with an $11,535.52 being reimbursed through a DOJ grant, resulting in a total expenditure of $19,874.48 from the ERP fund. It was budgeted in the ERP fund for $25,000 for this year.
All right, very good. Anyone have any questions for Mr. Westhoff? Okay,
I make a motion that we accept the consent agenda.
all right, it's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda as printed. If there are no questions, all those in favor, please state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you very much, sir. There were some much-needed items on that consent agenda, so thank you so much for working on that. Our new business, first up will be our public hearing, which is the proposed amendment to the Atchison Starbond Project District, and that will be presented by Mr. Westhoff.
So I'll do a brief presentation here, then we can open the public hearing, receive public comment for or against the Starbond project plan and the ordinance, and then we can have a little more discussion afterwards, and if you approve, we'll pass the ordinance. We also have with us Mr. Dominic Eck with our Starbond counsel, Gilmore and Bell, who can also answer any questions, as well as maybe clarify anything that I don't get 100% right, since he's been a part of this project longer than me. So in 2017, the City Commission approved the original Starbond Project District, which includes a portion of downtown, including the now site of the Holiday Inn Express and the Taco Bell, as well as the downtown farmers market. And then it also has a portion that includes the original boundaries of the airport before the new runway project was started. That original Starbond had two main projects. One was being a portion of the bonds went towards the Amelia Earhart Hangar Museum project, and the other was the farmers market downtown. It captures the state sales tax as well as our local sales tax from that district and keeps it in the district to fund those projects. The original had a 20-year lifespan. We paid it off in 8 because the district has been very successful. So the state allows you to come back if you keep the boundaries the same of the Starbond district. You can use the same base, the same taxes to continue and complete more projects within that district with the same original timeline. So we have 12 years to pay off this second round of Starbond projects. The proposal in front of you and the proposal for the public hearing is to have 3 main projects funded by this Starbond phase 2 essentially. The first is an expansion of the Amelia Earhart Hangar Museum at the airport, totaling around $1.5 million, which will be an addition of a specialized educational center to host classes, larger groups that come in so they can host them for a whole day rather than just come in, walk through the museum and leave. They can hold special events there, more hands-on environment. They'll have a maker space, flight simulators, things of that nature in that expansion. The second is to build with $1.4 million, build a 5 to 8 plane transient use hangar at the airport. When the runway is completed, as of right now, when folks fly in for an event or something to the area, they are stored outside for the most part unless they have a private hangar here. So this meets some of the STAR bond requirements for tourism-based projects. It would encourage people to fly into our new airport because they have covered space to park their plane for a few days before they leave. That is 1.4 million. And then the third project is the farmers market improvements, which are 330,000. Includes getting the stormwater underground, which we've talked about a couple times, so it doesn't sheet over the farmers market area, as well as resurfacing of a lot of the pavement in that area to smooth it out, and adding in some new site amenities and furnishings to kind of keep the space moving forward. We also included in the plan that we are obviously still in the middle of our $15.5 million or so runway project at the airport. That a portion of that runs through the STAR bond district and is vital to the success of those improvements at the airport, and so that's kind of part of our share of the project, that we're completing that runway project. So I think that's a pretty good background. Dominic, did you have anything you want to add before we open the public hearing?
Great, thank you. Dominic with Gilmore and Bell. As Mr. Westhoff said, this is an expansion of the original project. The STAR Bond Act is looking for projects that develop economic opportunities, make new use of sales tax dollars, provide tourism, entertainment. So as part of this process, there was a revenue bond study done by the revenue consultant selected by Department of Commerce to see, okay, when we make additional improvements, when we further expand the hangar and the museum and the farmers market, will that continue to generate additional economic activity to be able to support a phase 2? And that was completed to the Department of Commerce satisfactory conditions, and so they've told us to go ahead and move forward with this process. So we're not changing any boundaries, not imposing any additional taxes or anything of that nature. We're simply expanding the project scope for a phase 2. And the first step in that is to hold a public hearing and consider the ordinance that's before you tonight. So any questions that you have on the process, I'd be happy to answer.
If we didn't happen to come up with enough tax money during this next 8 years?
12.
Well, I thought, okay, we paid it off in 8, so we got 12 left.
Yes.
So they're projecting that won't be a problem, that much sales tax?
Yeah, so there are several guardrails along the way to ensuring that there's additional and sufficient funds to pay off a bond issue. Step 1, it has to get through Department of Commerce and their kind of revenue study. Step 2 will be, and then that's what we can use to create this project expansion and make these costs eligible. That's what tonight's about, making additional costs eligible, expanding the scope and possibilities of the project. It does not bind or obligate you to perform the project, and it does not provide any of the money up front now. If you choose to move forward with this, step 2 will be, we'll get a bond underwriter involved. They're going to do another revenue study and take a look at that themselves. They're going to bake in their own projections, and that way, before any bonds are issued, they want to be certain that those numbers are going to continue to cash flow the projected debt service as well. So step 2 would be the actual financing piece, and there will be yet another study that is done there just to double and triple check the math and make sure that we don't issue more bonds than are projected to be repaid.
Just to note, the original revenue study from Commerce projected that there was room for a STAR bond up to 4.5 million in value for the district for the remaining 12 years. The projects that we identified total 3.2. So there's room even in the original projection from Commerce, but obviously the underwriter would also take.
You said that was, Mark, how much?
4.5.
4.5, okay.
And then the projects total 3.2.
Okay.
So we have that cushion built in as well. But
Okay.
So the probability within that district, those entities will raise their prices over the next 12 years rather than lower them, which would generate additional tax dollars over
Well-
and above where we're currently at.
I mean, inflation is baked into sales taxes. That's part of it. However, the real two economic drivers for our Star Bond district are two new businesses that are, by all accounts, doing well, and their sales have gone up every year. So that's baked into the projection, yes.
That's the hotel and what?
The hotel and the Taco Bell were both conceived of when the Star Bond district was drawn, but not completed yet. So the base was $0. In a Star Bond, you're allowed to collect the state's portion of the sales tax over the base that's set. Well, the base for those two properties was $0. So the Star Bond district currently, as it's currently devised, is essentially able to collect the entire portion of the state's sales tax.
That'd still be true in the second round?
Correct. As long as you don't change the boundaries, that's the way that we're trying to do this.
That is correct. The plan is to continue with the same increment calculation for phase two as was.
So then we would draw some of this money for each one of these projects? It's not, it didn't have to be all drawn ahead of time, huh? Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, it's not. We don't draw it. Although we have a balance in our Star Bond account right
Yeah.
now, actually.
Well, yeah, so when we do the step two here, the financing, we'll do a bond issue through a bond underwriter, and they'll deposit those funds with the bond trustee. The bond trustee will receive requisitions for good payment costs and then distribute that money accordingly, according to the project plan and the bond documents, so that the allocations are filled as they go along.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
we
right, I see.
we can talk about that as well, maybe during the public hearing if anyone has comment on that, or after as well.
Okay. All right, any other questions? All right, if not, we will open our hearing on this matter at 4:46. It is open. I know that we have several individuals here, one from the Hanger Museum, Mrs. Stephanie Affield, and then also Mr. Reed Berger from our airport. So would I?
Just open it for
It's already
for
open.
public comment
Yep.
for or against. Yeah.
All right, so would either of you
No,
have?
just
an-
open it for
It's
public
already,
hearing.
it's already open, Mark.
Then-
I opened it.
Ju-
It's
Then
open.
leave it alone and let
Okay.
anyone who
Okay.
wants to speak come.
All right, would either of you like to speak? Oh, sorry. Oh,
Just open the public hearing and
Okay.
let anyone who wants to speak for or against it
Okay.
come and speak.
Okay. Anyone? Okay. Anyone like to speak? Okay, if not, we will close the public hearing at 4:47. All right, very good. Okay, at this time, we will, where am I here? Okay, we are going to consider ordinance number 6733, Star Bond Project District. This is going to be a roll call vote. And at this time, do we have a motion to pass the ordinance number 6733?
I make such a motion.
All right, it's been moved. Is there a second?
Second it.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we pass the ordinance 6733, Star Bond Project District, and it's a roll call vote. Tina?
Any other questions
Yep.
before the vote
Any questions?
on that
Okay.
weren't part
Just
of
a
the-
comment. So the only negative that I can take from this is that rather than those tax funds going into the general budget of the city and the state,
Right.
they go to these projects.
Correct.
So there's a gain there, but there's a loss on the other end.
Correct, yeah. The
Be
benefit
transparent
locally.
about that.
Yeah, absolutely. The benefit locally is that we get to collect a share of the state sales tax to go towards these projects. The state has identified these kinds of projects as beneficial to the state at large, and so they're willing to give up a portion of their sales tax collection. And then on our half, the city also puts in our 1% sales tax that is collected within the district to remain in the district. So it's very similar to other taxing districts like CIDs and those kinds of things, where money collected within the district stays within it, except it's a little broader. We're able to tap into some of the state sales tax, which is a little unique, and it's a bond, so it's issued up front, and you can get the projects done, whereas CIDs often are, you collect them and you can spend the money as you collect it, but it's not an upfront impact right now, get the project ready. The nice thing about this district is, we have the two businesses that have really anchored the revenue. We also have the farmers market is obviously incredibly beneficial to the community. It's very, you go down there any weekend, it's full and used regularly. And the Hanger Museum has essentially outpaced every projection that the state had for it in terms of visitors and even their own tax revenue from their gift shop and things. So, both have been wildly successful, and that's why the bond issue paid off quickly and why we are entertaining an expansion.
Is there additional opportunities if this is paid off? And let's say you have the 12 years?
That would depend on state law at the time. The state has, in the last year, shown some reining in of the STAR bonds, I think because of a couple very large projects that have tapped into the STAR bond process. They're very public. So they've reined it in a little bit. This is still within the scope of what they allow. I could see that program changing, though, certainly over the next 12 years. So it's a little hard to say.
We have an opportunity there, though, to get some state tax money
Absolutely.
that we can use here.
Mhm.
I think these are all good projects. I'm a little leery of spending very much money at the farmer's market down there to put that water underground. I just don't see where that's very important. I think some of this other stuff's pretty good deal, but.
Sure. I get that. We're trying to mirror the original STAR bond, which put a percentage of the money out at the airport for development there, and a portion of the money into the downtown. So.
Okay, all right. Any other questions, concerns? Okay. Commissioner Murphy, anything? Okay. All right. Tina, if you could please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Wilcox.
Yes.
Commissioner Greenlee.
Yes.
Commissioner Murphy.
Yes.
Commissioner Slattery.
Yes.
Mayor Young.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, next we will have First Street Connection by Clinton McNamee, our Public Works Director.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right, the First Street Connection. So where this is the housing development project, Raven Hills area over on the First Street right away. So between First Street, between Laramie and Mound, it's like 3 blocks in there. The developer built out First Street between Laramie through Kearney up to Riley. And then they've got a half block south of Mound. And so there leaves a half block that is not connected. So this proposes to fill in that half block with street, and then we'll have a through First Street all the way from Laramie to Mound. We received 2 bids for that. It was in the CIP. Let me back up. It was in CIP for $250,000. The low bid that we received of the 2 was from Pruitt Construction here in Atchison for $149,453.40. And that is the recommendation, to go with Pruitt Construction for that amount plus $15,000 for contingency.
All right, any questions for Mr. McNamee?
I'd note a
Anything?
couple things on this.
Okay.
This was partially common sense to connect those, and partially came from the commission talking about how residents in that new neighborhood will be able to get out of their multiple points of egress and ingress. This is the right-of-way in this section is half the width of the right-of-way in the rest of that block, because in the past, the eastern half of that right-of-way was vacated, so now belongs to the property owner there on the east side. Luckily for us, the developer lined up their streets. They're on the west half of their right-of-way, so the street will pretty much line up with the 2 sections that are already in. And there's enough room to complete this project within the remaining right-of-way. We do have an easement in that vacated right-of-way if we need to run drainage or anything through there, but in the current plan, we don't have to do that. But it's there if we need to. We're anticipating that we won't need to get over there, but it's there if we do. So
I thought the developer was gonna do all
The developer did the sections of street in their development. This section is not in their development because the property owners on both sides of this street chose to not, they are not part of the development. So it's a city right-of-way that is not included in that housing development, so.
Okay.
I thought they were gonna hook it up.
Nope. We had talked with them about trying to maybe coordinate when they had their paver here, and we would pay them for that, but it didn't work out timing wise. They were ready to go earlier this spring, or earlier this summer, and yeah.
Well, that's a well-done project that they have there with
It
the
is.
street that they put in is very good. And I think that the early phases of that development are all above what most people's expectations. So hooking those two streets up and improving the flow through there as that becomes more populated is gonna be important. It's not a secondary issue. I think it's a primary issue for the people that are living in that area.
Any other comments, questions?
I was sure under the impression that they were gonna take care of all the sewer and the streets, so.
In their development, they are,
Well-
but this is not in their
Well, what we
development.
thought we remember and what we remember is, at my age, are getting to be two different things.
I'll go with what I remembered.
That's-
All right, if there isn't any other comment, is there a motion to authorize staff to hire Pruitt Construction for the First Street project in the amount of $149,453.40, including change order authority of $15,000 as contingency?
Make such a motion.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second?
All right, it's been moved and seconded. If there are no further questions or discussion, all those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. We had 4 ayes and 1 nay. All right, next we will have the Laramie Street Stormwater Outfall, also by Mr. McNamee.
All right, so we're in the same neighborhood, just a couple blocks south. They're at the intersection of First and Laramie. So as part of the housing development for Raven Hills, new sewer main had to be installed. And there's a certain length that triggers a permit from KDHE. And so as part of that process, KDHE had requested us to look at ways to offset the additional sanitary sewer flow into that combined sewer that's there by pulling some of our storm inlets off of that and daylighting them. Really the only place to daylight them for an outfall is what would that be, the north end of Independence Park, kind of up in the Life Trail area. So this proposal basically pulls, I think, 5 or 6 inlets. 4 of them, I believe, were existing for forever. And then a couple of the new inlets that were part of First Street. Pulls them off of that combined sewer, and it daylights them into the park. And there would be like a riprap area on that bank at the north end of the Independence Park that'll sort of act as a dissipator for that flow coming out. We received 2 bids on that from the same 2 contractors as the First Street connection. And the low bid on this one came from Ingeman Drainage out of Troy, $49,200. And I would ask for a change order authority of $7,500 to go with that.
Okay.
And
Any
that
other?
that budget would theoretically come from our annual stormwater improvements.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Okay. All right. Any questions for Mr. McNamee on the Laramie Street Stormwater Outfall?
Well, it's the same thing. I mean, I don't understand why they aren't taking care of that themselves.
Well, their plans had followed all codes and regulations, and it had the stormwater at the end of so on the project site, stormwater and sanitary are separated because that's code to keep them separated. However, they're only responsible for that on their project site. And then once it got to the end of the project site, the only option that they had, that we had in place, is to pour both of those into the combined sewer. Now, that's how they drew up the plans. That's how the code and regulations show that they should do it. KDHE, though, when they reviewed it and reviewed their permit for the sewer line, said, no, you guys have to keep your storm and sewer separate, or your storm and sanitary separate, so we want you to come up with another way to get rid of that stormwater. We did work with them where they drew up the plans, I believe, right? They paid for the plans, the engineering side, and then we are paying for the actual implementation. So there is a partnership there, but it's an additional cost because of our arrangement with KDHE. So that's why we're covering the difference there.
So when you dump this out, is it gonna affect if they ever have to put that road out of the district down into the park?
On the other side. Yeah. And the other thing we identified, I believe, all of the inlets in that parking lot are already separated too, right? They all go straight to the river.
Right, so that was circa 2004 with the Riverfront project, that the new inlets that are down there closer to the south end of Independence parking lot, those are after the bypass point, so they go directly to the river.
So any kind of major rain event that kind of overflows this outfall and gets out into the parking lot, that water will never enter our combined system. So it'll go into the drains and out to the river directly. So it was a benefit in multiple ways there.
All right. Any other questions? No? Maybe not? All right. Questions here? Okay. If not, do I have a motion to authorize staff to hire Ingman Drainage Company for the Laramie Street Stormwater Outfall Project in the amount of $49,200, including a change order authority of $7,500?
So moved.
Okay, it sounds like that we'll go with Vice Mayor moved and Commissioner Murphy seconded. Do we have any questions, concerns? If not, all those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And seeing as we do not have communications, informational items by Mr. Westhoff.
Thank you, Mayor.
Uh-huh.
First in informational is the May 2026 financials. One item, since it's relevant to the discussion tonight, that I'll draw your attention to is on page 79. Is a current Star Bond collections for that district. I was just going to draw your attention to the last number here in 2026. This is how much we've collected this year so far. Well, actually, to the end of May. The reason I'm pointing this out is we paid off that district in September of 2025. So some of the total from 2025 and then all of that total from 2026, we've been collecting in the district, and it's going into that account that he mentioned, and it's basically adding up and adding up. So we actually have a balance in our account with the state of the Star Bond collections, proving that the district continues to do well, even while the current project is paid off. So just a note there.
Question on that. So I would assume, though, by agreement or law, one or the other, those funds can only be used for those projects. Those excess funds.
That is correct. That is correct. Star Bond funds can only be utilized to implement approved Star Bond project plans. And so that's what we did tonight, is expand the approved uses in that project area for Star Bond funds. If you were to not move forward with the project, then those would get distributed to the state, their share of it, and the city's share would go to the city. And
So if we reach the conclusion of this, and either we choose not to go forward with another project or it goes away, if there are excess funds at that point in time, we would receive a share of that back to the
You would receive your city's share of it, which they keep track of where it comes from, whether the city or the state. The state money would go back to the state, the city money would go to the city.
So the city has a 1%, and how much of the state sales tax do we get?
The state's 6.5%.
We get the whole,
Correct. Under the law as it was at the time. It's a little bit different now, but for this district, you get the 6.5%.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Okay, and that's what obviously the entire financial report is there for your review. I just wanted to call attention to that one item. And then I have an update.
Yep.
Okay. First, wanted to embarrass her and welcome our summer intern, Emily Madden. She's a student at BC in the finance program, and she's been helping us out with some summer projects, and she's sitting in on the meeting tonight. So please, if you have a minute, to say hello to her afterwards and welcome her to the city. I've been joking with her that, it's a lot more boring work than it seems most of the time. But that's the job. Okay, update. We've been talking about the airport. The runway contractor is on site again this week. They've been placing the rock base for the runway out there. They got the settlement issues figured out. They will be doing installation of the drains this week, and they're looking at paving some as quickly after July 4th. So, yes.
Who's the inspector on that? Is that a contractor inspector, or is the city inspecting on that, or who's doing
We
that
don't
inspection?
It's our airport consultant, Lochner.
Lochner.
Lochner does it?
Okay. Just a note, as people have probably seen, we are still looking for more lifeguard applicants for the Lions Pool for the summer. So the application is available on the city website. We're needing anyone who has some aptitude with swimming, especially that has availability over the summer. Please put in your applications. We have already had to close one day for lack of staff and limited some services a couple days now because we didn't have enough lifeguards. Obviously, lifeguards have schedules in the summer as well, so they're not there every day, but that's why we need some more staff. A couple things on the park side. We have the Oak Hill Cemetery cleanup is happening later this week. So if anyone put out decorations for Memorial Day, I want them to go out and pick those up before staff goes through and clears it out so we can get it mowed. Another item for the parks, just kind of a nice news note. We had a group putting on a summer softball league at Millard Allen Park this year has offered to volunteer to spruce up the baseball field there. The Parks Department ordered in some new field conditioner dirt, and they're going to be spreading it out hopefully this weekend if the weather cooperates. So just some nice news, volunteers stepping up at using one of the parks. The parks crew will also be putting up our 4th of July 250th decorations downtown, banners going up downtown. We're also working to get some of the flags up on the city highway entrances as well. That was always done privately. The individuals doing that are no longer doing it, so we're offering to do it this one time, but we will also be looking for an organization locally who might want to take that on. I believe it's been a fundraiser in the past to get those flags up for holidays. So something that groups could reach out to.
Light pole flags?
Those are the ones on the light poles, yeah. So there's some trickiness there with the height, but the group that was doing that is no longer doing it, so.
And that's on, did you say 59 highway?
They have those on 73 and
73?
59, I believe.
73,
Yep,
59,
as you come
and
into
Main.
town. Mhm.
Okay.
They've done a really good job of doing that over the years.
Yeah, yeah. Juneteenth was celebrated this last weekend at LFM Park. Seemed to go very well. I was out there. Lots of people were using the new amenities at the park. The splash pad was looking good, and they were under the new shelter, and kids were playing on the new playground. Couple notes there: the Atchison Historical Society and their volunteers they held their opening for the new Black Business District History Museum on 7th Street, which is across from LFM Park. Commission might recall that this was a land bank property that was connected with the Rock Inn and those other buildings there, that the land bank trustees sold to the Historical Society to try to revitalize those buildings. This is the first phase. It is now open. I encourage you to connect with the Historical Society and go take a tour of that. It was very nice. And then finally, we have our 4th of July event coming up. This is the last main city commission meeting before that date. So a couple of reminders for folks. The website for information for that is america250atchison.com. We're planning to have the Lewis and Clark keelboat and reenactors downtown on the river. The International Forest of Friendship is holding tours of their new improvements there. There will be a community pancake breakfast down at the farmers market in the morning. The Benedictine College is opening up their new library, which is a replica of Independence Hall in Philadelphia, and they will have the assembly room open. They will also have historic documents there, including a first edition of the Constitution. We'll have live music, or we'll have a parade downtown. We're still looking for signups. You can find those on that website as well to get your group signed up. There will be trophies for best float or entry, marching band, or whatever you happen to put forward. And then we'll have live music and games at the riverfront, culminating with a drone show over the river and fireworks over the river. So please plan to spend the day at those events. Also, a number of museums in town are planning to be open during the heat of the day to kind of let people get a break from being outside. So patronize our local museums and businesses that day and have a great and safe 4th of July.
And Mark, can you tell them the website one more time?
Sure. America250atchison.com.
Very good.
Any other questions?
Any
Excellent.
any update on the entry road to the Forest of Friendship?
Yes, so the city crews completed the paving within the Forest of Friendship now. They have the start of the grading done for the entryway, and they'll be getting to that this week or next week, weather dependent. But it will be completed before the 4th of July.
Very good. Anything else? Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, now we have governing body comments. Commissioner Greenlee?
Oh, just piggyback on what Mr. Westhoff commented on the Juneteenth celebration. I think I've been to about every one of them, and I think this is probably the best attended Juneteenth that they've had, and it seemed to go off very well. Went back Sunday for services, and everything went well. Looked like the kids were having a lot of fun on Saturday, and it was very well attended. Was impressed. They did a good job.
Very good. Vice Mayor?
Just glad that all went well, important to the city, and I'm excited about getting ready for the budget workshop here.
Very good. Very good. Commissioner Slattery?
Contain your excitement. Yeah, it was a great occurrence up there at for the Juneteenth thing. Yeah, I think we're getting along good. I'm okay.
Okay, all right. Commissioner Murphy?
Just use redundancy and just say I agree with everyone.
All right, very good. And I will just reiterate, it was a great time. Pastor Mitchell was there at Juneteenth, as well as our fire department. Thank you, Chief Weissar, and Chief of Police. Thank you so much for the help. And of course, Clinton McNamee was there to talk about LFM park improvements, and Mr. Westhoff was there as well. So we definitely appreciate all of the support for Juneteenth. Additionally, just want to reiterate the website, America250atchison.com, for the 4th of July. Please check that out. Please also, if you would like, sign up for floats for the parade as well. And then also, to reiterate, Mr. Westhoff, if you are interested in becoming a lifeguard, if you are a good swimmer, we would really appreciate that. And Mr. Westhoff, how are they to apply for a lifeguard? What should they do? What's the process?
We have the application on the city website.
Okay, so go to the city website.
You can also find it on Indeed.
Yes, so
Okay.
it's also available on Indeed.
Okay, all right, very good. Indeed.com or our city website. And with that, if there are no further comments, is there a
move we
motion?
adjourn.
Wonderful. It's been moved that we adjourn. Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. We are adjourned.
Nice to meet you.
scooter up there.
It smelled
Thank you so
wonderful. I didn't go in there.